Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Elevation 740, produced and directed by Jetta Media, hosted by the LC Valley Chamber of Commerce. My name is Mark Losh, your CEO of the LC Valley Chamber of Commerce. And today I'm very excited because we have our guest from the Port of Clarkston, Mark Brigham, with us. We've got some questions that we're going to go through, but first, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and what's new in the world with yourself.
Sure, Mark. Happy to do that. I came to Clarkston, actually, instead of Lewiston when I first moved to the Valley, 4 years old with my parents and siblings. And we spent the first 6 years on the Washington side of the river. Then we moved over to Idaho. My dad opened a couple of businesses over in Idaho. People may have heard of Red Steer, Mr. B's, Valari, and Skipper's.
Okay.
And so we grew up in the restaurant business there and helped him with that through my high school years. Played a number of sports at Lewiston High School. Had a great time growing up on Sunset Drive in Lewiston. After I graduated, went to the University of Idaho, played some football there for about 3 years, and decided after my knee injury that I had given it enough of a shot and it was time to retire from playing football. So I did retire, but I stayed active within the university system and really enjoyed my years there. Once I graduated, I decided that I wanted to get into business. Mm-hmm. And so I started in business. I actually ran a restaurant for Skipper's for a while. I decided that from that the part of management I liked the best was human resources, working with employees. So from there, I started with a job in Portland, Oregon, working for a Red Lion Hotel as their human resources director, and stayed in that profession for the most part of my career until I retired.
Okay.
Now, one area that I did change is when I moved back to Lewiston in 1992, I took the job as the economic development director for the Port of Lewiston.
Okay.
So I was there for 6 years working for the port, the city, and the county, and helping to recruit businesses, working with businesses to help them expand. Really enjoyed that job. Wasn't easy, but it was enjoyable. And that was the time when people were starting to bring in coffee shops and that type of thing into the valley. And no one at first thought it would work, and now it's booming. But there were other businesses that we recruited that we were successful with. And the port continued to buy land and work really closely with the city and the county to make that happen.
And that was the Port of Lewiston, correct?
That was the Port of Lewiston.
Okay.
So I did that for 6 years, and that's where I got my feet wet and thought, I really enjoy working in the port industry.
Okay.
But from there, I went back into human resources and worked for the city of Lewiston as their HR director.
Okay.
For several years. So that was my next step. And throughout my career, I worked for the city and also for Clearwater Paper and for the city of Moscow in human resources. So that takes you about 30, 35 years. For the most part, we've lived here in the Valley. Currently, we live in Clarkston Heights, and we've been there for a little over 11 and a half years.
Hence why you're a commissioner at the Port of Clarkston.
Exactly.
Because you live in Clarkston.
And I thought, when we moved back and moved into Clarkston, I would get involved some way. And then Rick Davis, Port Commissioner, had passed away and had done such a good job over the years. And I thought, he would be a good one to follow. And so I interviewed for the position. I think there were two of us that interviewed, and they selected me about 8 years ago. So I've been a Port of Clarkston Commissioner for 8 years, and Wanda Kiefer was our port manager for years, and now the last 3 years, almost 4 years now, Chris Rasmussen is the port director, and we're really happy to have Chris on board.
Talk about Chris a little bit, because I've met him a few times. He's not a person who wants to sit and do an interview much, but boy, he gets a lot done, though.
Yes, he does.
And he has great vision, and he also has a great history. Talk about his history a little bit, because it helps give some validation of where the port's going.
Yes. Chris has experience working with the ports prior to coming to the Port of Clarkston. So we were very fortunate there. He was at the Port of Port Angeles as their operating manager for several years and worked in the deep sea part of seaports, but also worked in the economic development side and helped recruit the small businesses to the Port Angeles area and worked directly with the unions, the hiring, you name it, Chris did it. And he was very highly thought of there. And so we were excited when he applied for the position, and he was definitely one of our finalists. And we hired him, and we felt like we've got a good one. Definitely.
So you've got some things that are taking place there. One of the things that you guys, in the past, ports used to lease land or rent land. And now some ports are selling land. Some are investing in buying land. Some are developing business. Talk about what Clarkston's doing. How do you fit into all those different scenarios?
Well, we do a little bit of everything, Mark. We've made a change in the last 7 or 8 years to where for years the Port of Clarkston wasn't selling any land. They decided that's not something that they wanted to do. They didn't want to lose the ground that they already had because they didn't have a whole lot at the time. And so it was lease only. And we thought, well, there's a way to do that. We can primarily lease the land, which we do to the majority of our businesses that come here. But also, if there's a business that's been there for 20, 30 years, and they have plans to, and they show us they have plans to add jobs and expand that business and grow the business, that if we have additional land next to the land that they're leasing, we may sell that land to them and sell a building to them as well so they can make that expansion. And a good example of that is Renaissance Marine. We sold some land to them a few years ago. They're expanding. They currently have 150 employees, well-paid employees, family wage jobs, and they will add another 50 jobs within the next few years and also move into the new building that they have, do some renovations, that type of thing. So that's what we're looking for. So if we find a business that is able and willing to grow, is a current business down there, then we may sell the land to them.
Gives them a whole different financial picture to be able to expand because they own the dirt and own the building.
Exactly.
So you're, in a way, gifting them the ability to move forward by selling them the land, which is a win-win for everybody. How many boats do they put out? I know that they're one of the larger producers in the area.
They are, and I'm not sure where they are right now. They slowed down a little bit during the COVID years, but they've really picked back up. And they not only do the smaller jet boats, they're doing jet boats that you put in the oceans and that type of thing. Very large jet boats. They also have a facility in Canada and other places. So I'm not exactly sure how many they do a year, I would have to guess, but they're very busy and they're continuing to hire people. As far as welders, that type of thing, business managers.
Great for the trades.
Yes, very good for the trades.
We should get them onto a podcast someday.
Yes.
That would be fun.
I think that they would enjoy that. They have a new manager there as well, so be a good opportunity.
Revenue. You have to have revenue move forward. Talk about how you manage your revenue in the port.
Well, and that's very important to manage it properly because we're getting tax dollars from the community. What we use with those tax dollars is we may use some of those tax dollars to purchase additional land down on that waterfront area. We currently have 120 acres on the waterfront, and with about 23 acres that are still available for development that aren't currently leased. And so what we'll do is if we do sell a property, as soon as we can find a very good piece of property that's available at the right price, then we'll buy that piece of property and use that to recruit additional businesses or for others to expand that are currently in the Soton County, Nez Perce County, this region. They might want to expand their business. And so that's what we're doing with the dollars, as well as there's some other areas that we use the dollars. One is dredging. So we
Yeah.
have to dredge the river
Important. Yeah.
every 5 to 7 years, depending on the depth, because we rely on that for our cruise ships to come and dock. So it's very important that they have that depth to come into the port. And there's always a match that we have to come up with, and it's fairly expensive. So we use our dollars for that as well.
You brought up cruise boats. We have a little bit of a cruise business coming into this valley. I know that American Cruise Lines are looking to even expand that. They've added a new boat. They're building 2 more. They're looking at actually putting a facility in the valley to do maintenance over the wintertime. They're looking at, I know we had a couple boats this last winter, but there could be as many as, rumor is 6 boats this winter to do maintenance work. How many boats a year come up? How many, not number of that boat, there's like 7 or 8 boats, but how many cruises are we going to see in the summer?
It starts in roughly April.
Yeah, it's already going.
It goes through October. And so we're going to see a boat come up, or 1 or 2 every weekend.
Yeah.
Every week. There's a boat either at the Port of Clarkston or the new facility at the Port of Lewiston. We've been fortunate enough to be able to take cruise boats here since, let's see, the first one came in 1961, or 81, excuse me, 1981. They couldn't have made it up in 61. 1981, once the dams were finished. And then starting in 2005, so the past 21 years, we've had over 300,000 visitors at the Port of Clarkston and in our valley, enjoying our valley. And what makes it so nice is not only do they dock there, but when they get off the ship, they spend time in our businesses. They're a walking distance from Costco, Walmart. We've got coffee shops. We have the brewery there. Winery, Basalt Winery,
jet boats that take them up the river, helicopter rides,
you name it.
Yeah.
We're trying to continue to expand that. We have Rooster's Restaurant and a number of restaurants and around the area that they'll go to, and they'll have people basically pick them up and take them across the river into Lewiston as well. So we want to showcase the entire valley and make sure that the travelers see that, because you never know. I mean, they may decide that they want to move here to the valley,
sure,
and bring their business or bring their family here and enrich the valley with their presence.
Many of those people on those cruises haven't seen wheat fields, haven't seen the dams, coming up from the Portland area, coming through the gorge, all of that. American Airlines tells us this is one of their most popular runs in the world, period. We take it for granted because we see it every day.
Exactly.
But it's amazing what people from another region come and see something, how they describe and see it. And I was on the christening for the new boat that was there. And the stories you hear people talking about what they saw. And it's, one couple said, we could sit on the top all day long and never be bored of what we saw. And it was always changing because there's so much diversity coming up the river. So I'm glad the boats are here. Boy, we need Michelle to give us all the really big numbers, but it's millions and millions and millions of dollars that come into
sure is.
Both Washington and Idaho because of that.
And what you had asked earlier, too, is true, that we have at least 1, if not 2 boats that will be there over the winter season. So they'll be working on the boats and making sure that there's 15 employees that will be on those boats, making the changes that need to be made so they're ready to go next spring. And so they live on the boat, but they shop and do things in the valley. So we've got an extra 15 employees here for 6 months.
And a lot of businesses supply them with what they need.
Yes,
it's not just 15 guys working. It's the entire community is supplying what they need to do the repairs.
You bet they are.
What are some plans that are coming up? We talked about what's past and where you are now.
Sure.
What's in the crystal ball?
Well, the crystal ball is that we are going to continue to work within the community itself, Asotin County, Clarkston, across the river, joining hands and making sure that we do everything we can to create new businesses, help current businesses hire more people, find the right people out of high school and college to do those jobs, and give the kids an opportunity to stay here in the Valley. So our goal is to create more and more jobs and make it an even better place to live in the future. So if we aren't working towards adding jobs and creating opportunities for people, then we slowly die as a community, and we don't want that to happen, because we love the area, and for it to grow, you need the younger population to stay here and have kids and continue to be a big part of what we do. So that's our major priority.
So you're involved in more than just the port.
Yes.
So I'm kind of circling back to who you are and how you got here. Describe how working for the port, but your connections to other organizations and other sectors or groups in the Valley are important to you as a port commissioner.
Well, there's all three commissioners. There's three of us.
Okay.
Have different areas that we have expertise and want to work in. The area that I enjoy working in the most is the economic development, business creation part of it. So I sit on the Valley Vision Board that is both Lewiston and Clarkston, and have been on that for 8 years. And that's a business recruitment retention for the entire Valley.
Mm-hmm.
So we're very involved in that, and we make sure that the port is involved in getting leads from Valley Vision to make sure that we can continue to bring the businesses in. Then I also work on the board for SWEDA,
Mm-hmm.
the Southeast Washington Economic Development Organization. And that's the organization that oversees not only Asotin County, but Garfield as well. And we meet on a regular basis and also get involved in a number of areas where you can get state money, federal money, that type of thing, to help build not only new homes for people that are looking, but new jobs, that type of thing. So I'm involved with that. And then I work in fact, I'm the vice president this year of the Washington Public Ports Association,
Okay.
which is an organization of 75 ports in the state of Washington. And so we meet on a regular basis, and they asked and elected me to be part of the executive committee. So this is my second year, and I'm vice president this year, and I'll be president next year. I am pleased to say that this is the first time that a Port of Clarkston commissioner will be president for over 20 years, for about 21 years.
Congratulations.
So, well, thank you. And I feel like I'm representing our area,
Sure,
and our commissioners. And so because of this, we'll have people come to our area for meetings and that type of thing. In fact, we've got a group of 12 from other ports coming to our area in August for a couple of days for a meeting. So this will be a way for us to get some great ideas from the other ports and also sell our area as well.
It's hard to say Sweden and not mention how a hard worker Erica is.
Yes, she is.
People, if you don't know, Erica is Stricker, who runs Sweden, is never, ever standing still or sitting down. She helps run the what we had during the sessions, the 7:30 in the morning, when we had every other week, we had our calls with our congressmen and representatives at the state level, which is a wonderful thing. Talk about your other commissioners. Let's not leave them out, please. So
don't leave them out.
Yeah.
We have two other commissioners. Dana Weatherly Wilson has been on board now, I'd say, about 5 years, and she represents the downtown area of Clarkston, and is just someone that's got so much energy and good experience. She's an RN by trade, and has done that most of her working life. She's married to a great guy that's very involved in the community as well. And she's easy to work with, and she has some ideas that sometimes the other two commissioners don't have, and that she'll bring up and have us think about some things that we hadn't thought about before. So she's really a good one to tap on the shoulder and say, what do you think? And listen to where she goes with it.
When you change the way you look at things, what you look at changes. And it's always great to have someone get you to step back and change your angle of view. So it's really good that you have diversity there. Who's the third commissioner?
Then Jay retired from Clearwater Paper.
Okay.
He was a vice president of operations, I believe, for Clearwater Paper for years. And so he's got all the experience in the world dealing with budgets and larger businesses, smaller businesses. He's been in that industry forever. He's very comfortable in the public speaking. One of his areas that he spends a lot of time with is the dams.
Okay.
And the drawdowns, not having the drawdowns, keeping the dams, and how important they are to the river system. And so Jay's very involved in that, and he's taken that and run with it.
You sound like you're busier now than when you were working.
It seems like it sometimes, but it can be a fun busy.
It is.
It really is.
We tried to cover a lot of bases today. Did I miss anything? Is there anything that we missed that you want to bring up?
Yes. Recently, there's been a study that took place on the top businesses, the top states to do business in.
Okay.
And it came out, and overall, Washington finished number 11, which is a good sign. Well, they finished number 11 because the economy for the state is good, and it was ranked in the top 10. The technical and workforce innovation is excellent in this state, and access to capital has always been good. And Seattle has a number of large businesses that are doing well, and the quality of life has been good in Washington State for years. Now, on the other side of it, there's some news that doesn't help us in Asotin County or in the state of Washington, and that's the areas that need to be worked on. And there's 3 areas that are in the bottom 10 of all states. One is the cost of living in Washington State. As we know, it's gone up drastically, especially in the last 5 or 6 years, but continues to go up. The cost of doing business has gone up because of that, and because there's been additional taxes that have been added to the businesses for them to do business, and has made it more difficult for them to make the money that they need to make to go ahead and expand or bring new businesses in. And then last of all, just the business friendliness, where the businesses feel like, okay, this is a friendly state to do business. The perception is that it's not become a friendly place to do business. In fact, there's been a couple of businesses that have expanded. Starbucks is one to Tennessee, and hiring 2,000 people there that possibly could have been the 2,000 that stayed in the state of Washington. And we're currently dealing with it in Asotin County, the Port of Clarkston, where we have lost some businesses to other states, most recently across the river to Lewiston and to Idaho. Now, that's good for the valley when they stay within Lewiston or Clarkston. So that's good. I'm glad we have that opportunity. But we also do not want to lose some of these businesses out of state to Nevada, Utah, Montana, and that's where people seem to be going now. And so the governor set up a committee, a council. There's 26 people on the council. I looked at the number of or who the folks were, and they're mainly in Western Washington, mainly from the bigger businesses or business organizations. What we really need to do is to lobby and get some additional positions, or when some are up to replace, get someone from our area.
We need better representation of the east side.
We really do.
It's been that case forever.
Yes. And Spokane isn't even very, very well. I think they have one person that I saw from a VIST on it.
Yes.
And then WSU has the president. But we don't have any small business people on that. And that's where 50% of our jobs come from. So you need the small business person on that council to really make it work and make the changes that need to happen, so we aren't continuing to lose jobs to other states.
That's something we need to keep our eyes on. It's been a problem forever. I worked in the state of Washington, had businesses for about 40 years, and that was always the challenge of how do we get the balance between taxes to have a government run, but not overtax a business to where they leave and go away. And it's a trend that's probably above the pay grade that we can fix today. So, Mark, people may want to get a hold of you or see what's going on with the port, and I imagine there's a few ways. Tell us about the website first. What's the address?
portofclarkston.com is the way to find the website. And the website has a number of things on there that'll help answer questions if you're a resident, a taxpayer, or somebody that might want to start a new business.
Terrific.
We'd be happy to have you join us on that site. And we also have the folks at the event, at the facility itself. We've got 5 employees that would be more than happy to help you out if you want to stop by the port. And we're right across the street from the park, Granite Lake Park.
Okay.
And we're open Monday through Friday from 7 to 5. So we'd be happy to have people stop by or pick up the phone and call us as well.
No worries. What's the phone number?
509-758-5272.
Terrific. It's been a pleasure having you here, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it so much.
You're doing a great job, and you're not new anymore, so we can't call you new.
Oh, no, I got 10 months under my belt now, so I still have 2 more months before it's the 1-year anniversary.
Well, it seems like you've been here for longer than that because of what you've accomplished, so thank you.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you, folks. Stay tuned for another episode of Elevation 740, produced and directed by Jetta Media, hosted by yours truly, Mark Losh, LC Valley Chamber of Commerce. Thank you.